All right, hello, and we're in another week of art lessons at the Brookings Arts Council. My name is Shelby, as always, and today we're going to be doing some like Picasso-esque portraits, doing some paper folding and some we're going to really kind of be creative with our paper folding and go from there. So as far as supplies today, I have just regular kind of printer paper, I have a pencil, I have an eraser, and then I do have an extra thing that will be in the supply section of like the project guide where it kind of tells you what we're doing, maybe has my example, some instructions. This little guy right here, and this is going to be kind of important for you guys. So basically it just has like a list and like some different suggestions of like different like facial features. So like there's ears in here, a mouth, like different noses, different eyes, and that are all really kind of loosely based on how Picasso creates his work, which is what the whole project is based on today. So it's a little bit of kind of like fun, quirky, like not super planned stuff. So like trying to be creative and like work with what you got. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna just randomly fold our paper. We're not folding it completely in half, none of that. We're just folding like this fold right here, like random fold to begin with. I'm gonna fold it again. You can unfold it and refold it as many times as you want. I would do at least 3 or 4 just to give yourself kind of something to work with and maybe some choice within the project. You can unfold it and refold it. Try not to plan the folds, just kind of get some in there, and then we'll reevaluate and kind of look at what we're working with. So for mine, get a couple more in here. I really want like a bunch because I wanted a bunch of different colors to use. So along with this project also, like as most of my projects do, I really kind of want you to be thinking of like how and why you're using the colors that you're using. So again, this week, like using like color scheme colors, color wheel color schemes, excuse me. So like the primary colors, the secondary colors, you know what I mean? Like we talked about a little bit. Primary colors would be red, yellow, and blue. Secondary is the colors that those make, so orange, purple, and green. Monochromatic would be like tints and shades of one color, so like red, pink, and white. That would be a monochromatic. You could do analogous, which would be 3 colors next to each other on the color wheel. Whatever kind of interests you, but just kind of be paying attention to what you're using, what you're kind of drawn to, and how those colors kind of work with each other. Like what do they have in common? What don't they have in common? Like what is a little bit like maybe weird about them? What do you like? What don't you like? I think color is really exciting and can be really a lot of fun. And so I just, encourage you to think about it and kind of be aware of what you're doing so you can talk about it, because that's a big part of art. So for the project, when we are done with all those random folds, I'll hold this up and you can kind of see all the different like lines that mine leaves. We're gonna look and we're gonna turn it around and try and find like, okay, maybe this looks like a nose. Maybe that's my nose. I find it easy to look for like areas where a nose could work. If you like, you can try and look for places where like, oh, an eye would look really good right there. That makes a lot of sense to do it that way. That's fine. An ear, an eyebrow, like whatever you see, just like let it kind of show and run with it, because that's what this is a lot about. And so as for mine, I think for this one, I think I want my nose to be kind of this weird like interior, like it's pointy, and then it kind of goes straight and is a little bit like oblong. It is kind of like, I don't know if this would be considered a parallelogram, but it is 4-sided. It is irregular for sure. And we're gonna draw the nose into that space. So mine here is pointy. That's where we're gonna trace those lines in that we folded. And then I'm gonna add like that like arch to the nose there. And like, I think even like a nostril, because I want kind of like a big like funky looking nose. I just think big noses are super fun and like exciting to work with, and so I'm taking like some creative license and like following the folds for the most part, but like I don't want like this round part, I don't want it to have a right angle. I don't want it to have a corner to it. I want it to be nice and round, kind of like changing things around a little bit, taking some creative license, as I like to call it, which basically just means that you're not necessarily like following what I want you to do, which you can do that because it's art. So I got my nose and kind of like the bridge of my nose, and so from there like my page is gonna go this way or this way. So maybe my person's looking up, maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're kind of looking down, maybe they're sad, sullen, whatever. Draw it that way. But you need to decide your orientation. I kind of want mine to be like a little sad. That's kind of fun to draw sometimes. And maybe I'm even gonna have my like nose be like kind of crooked too, because that's also really fun. So basically then the next thing is we're gonna refer back to this like pretty often, just because like sometimes it's hard to come up with eyes and you do want them to be somewhat different. So not only one eye, but coming up with two different eyes. And so I'm just gonna pick like down the list on here, like it does say like first, second, third roll. If you use dice and you want like some more chance kind of with it, you can roll the dice and the dice will tell you like which one, like 1 through 6, which one you get. It's just a little bit less choice on your part. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pick. So for the eyes, I want one that's kind of closed and maybe sad looking. And so I'm gonna have big with like some almost like SpongeBob eyelashes, like really just kind of like big, oversized, like chunky. And I'll draw that in and I'll show you guys when I'm done drawing. And maybe just one more up there. Yep. So we got kind of this big nose and then like an eye with just some ridiculous eyelashes going. They're not even going in the same direction. They're really big and chunky, not realistic at all, which is exactly what we're going for. And with this eye and like this posturing, like I just feel like it's right to add a teardrop. And as you kind of like have those inclinations to add things that are super creative and kind of like, why would you add that? Like why? Go with it. Like I'm just gonna add in like maybe this person is crying and add whatever details you'd like. Maybe there's a nose ring, maybe there's, you know what I mean, maybe they're mad, maybe they have big furrowed eyebrows, maybe they're frustrated or concerned, or you know what I mean, in my case crying. And it just seems right to add those kinds of extra details that are not necessarily part of the project, but I think that's kind of what makes it fun. I'm also going to add like kind of a sad like hairy eyebrow. And I'll show you guys those additions as well. Hang on a minute here. So what we got like an eyebrow and just some tears. Maybe I'll do a couple more down here. I'm gonna get in the rest of the face. So next I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna add probably the mouth, just because I think that the mouth, like the placement of it, can be kind of interesting sometimes. And I'm gonna do it right in this, like right here. So I'm gonna have it be like back. So this is like a giant nose that's like coming out and it's leaning forward. So the mouth is gonna be like maybe even this one of these. And for that, I want not a smile, just because like obviously this person, it's not a real person, is not super happy right now. And so I would like, I don't know, I want some like big kind of like meaty lips on here, because I think that those are kind of fun always. And so adding in kind of looks like it's smiling right now, but like that's all right. Getting those lips in like that. We got some lips now. I am gonna add another eye, just really teeny tiny over here, because I think that that's a nice like juxtaposition to this big one and this big nose. Have just a little teeny eye over here, because Picasso, remember, like it's very like some faces are turned this way and it's a profile and others are looking straight at you. It's very twisted. I think you'd refer to it as like twisted perspective if you're looking for some terminology, like art terminology. And this eye I want to be just kind of like a regular kind of standard eyeball. Like I want it to look like an eye. I don't want it to be confusing. And so I'm gonna do just the pupil and then just that top. Yeah. So that we just have like a teeny tiny eye up here that's like looking off in the distance, and this one's crying. But that's all in the fun of it. I am gonna also do an ear while we're here today. And I do want that to be kind of wonky and like off on its own as well. So I'm gonna do, I want it bigger than that. See, I have an eraser next to me because like I make some decisions sometimes and don't necessarily like them. So you can always erase your artwork and start over. You can always do that. So I want this big kind of weird ear. And I really am, you guys, just looking at the sheet and going from things on the sheet. If you want to be more creative than that and you want to do things that are different, like please do. So I am gonna trace some of these like folded lines just to divide up the face a little bit more. If you need to add like some extra folds to make it like make a little bit more sense, like please do. Or if you just want to make up your own lines, like that's fine too. So mine goes down like that. So this is what we got. So I'm tracing some of those lines, my ears over here, and I'm just gonna kind of mark off these different sections, and I'm gonna use a different kind of color in each one. So the nose will be one like kind of major color, the eye one color, the other eye a different color, and just kind of work with it that way. So like if you did this last week with us, like we talked about like some different, I don't even know what I'm saying honestly. So we talked about different, we did the stained glass project, that's what we did. And so like kind of breaking up space and doing things like that, breaking up space with the tape. It's like really similar to that, and like kind of using those different squares to be different colors. So this is what we got for this project. I will post a picture of my final, and I'll put it in like with the supplies. So next to this guy, so you get both of those when you're working, you're not just kind of like left hanging. If you want to reach out and let us know like things that you might be interested in learning about, or like what you think of these, or even like what you've done, like I'd love to see any and all of your artwork. You can reach out to us at the Brookings Arts Council. Our Facebook page is always open. You can always email us, whatever is most convenient for you. Post pictures, tag us, cool. But other than that, that's all I have for you this week, and I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you, well, I won't see you, but you will see me next week if you choose to watch another video. But until then, have a good day.